Hey, what's going on? Adam Schwartz here. On today's video, we're going to talk about should you wait to buy or you should buy right now. I was actually playing golf with some guys on Friday, and one of the guys said, "Hey, Adam, do you think it's still a good time to buy?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Even with 7% interest rates." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Every scenario is different, but obviously there are a scenario where it does work for some people." So let me break down those two scenarios to kind of give you an idea. And if you fit into one of those scenarios, then I would love to jump on a call with you to see out what is best for you. All right. So let's come to a realization that times of rates going back to 3% are never going to be anytime soon unless we see a massive economic crash, which that won't be good for anyone. And you're probably not going to be able to buy houses because big banks and big investment firms are going to come in and buy cash, and you'll never even see those properties. So those days are long gone. So let's just live in this scenario of maybe in a year or so, we get to 5.5%, maybe. A lot of people think that rates are going to be anywhere between 6.5 to 7.5 this year. I'm hoping they hang around a little just below 7. Wishful thinking, but we did have a really bad, hot jobs report come out the other day on Friday. And so that shows that the Fed will not be probably lowering rates anytime soon. Maybe we see one this year, and especially with a lot of things that people are worried about with inflation costs. Inflation cost goes up, mortgage rates are going to go up because the Fed is not going to decrease rates. Another question people have been asking me is how are the fires going to affect the housing market? The one big thing that it's going to affect is obviously there's going to be a huge demand of lumber costs. There's going to be a huge demand of used cars and cars. There's going to be a huge demand of labor. And when there's high demand of something, what ends up having costs go up? Costs go up, inflation is going to go up. So that's something we need to think about. So I'm going to bring in this little chart I made really quick, kind of make it super simple for you. So say you're at a 7% interest rate, you're buying at 750, your down payment is 150, 20%, your loan amount is 600, your interest rate is 7%, and your monthly payment be 4,900. Obviously, that's with standard taxes and no HOA. Every scenario is different. Okay, so say you're like, hey, Adam, I'm waiting until rates get down to the mid fives again to purchase. Same scenario, 750, 150, 600. Your monthly payment would be 4317. So that's a difference of 585. Okay. So what I'm talking about right now is what we are seeing right now, and I always like using facts, not just my opinion. So let me go back in here. So right here we're doing a share screen of the MLS, so you can see exactly the numbers. So you can know that I'm telling the truth. All right. So this is the MLS for 92508 Orange Crest. Reason I like using this zip code in Riverside when I use housing numbers is all the houses are roughly the same. They're all tract homes built anywhere between late 80s and all the way up to the early 2000s. Yeah, there's some new pockets that were built the last few years, but most houses are in that time frame. Just makes it a lot easier when it runs the comps. Okay. So if I was a buyer right now looking to buy in the market, I would go to whatever area that I was looking in, and I would go look at houses that have been on the market more than 30 days. Reason 30 days is if you went back and looked at my old videos, after 21 days on the market, houses drop off, are likely to go under asking price over, I think, 60%. Don't quote me the exact number, but if you want to go back to the video, it is definitely high. In 21 days is when we see the big turn jump off. Okay. And that video was done maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I would actually be very interesting to redo it because currently right now I track every Monday how many houses are sold. How many houses are sold in Riverside each week, and I track how many go under asking price. And right now, last week we had 28 sell, and 20 of them went under asking price. So just to kind of give you an idea of what those things look like, houses sell below asking price in Riverside. Like it just, we're looking at a roughly 50% right now. All right, so let's go back to the MLS. Let me add that back in so you can take a look. So say I was purchasing a home, and I was looking at 700,000 to 800,000, looking in Orange Grass. I would go any house that's been on the market 30 days, and I would start writing offers, 20% below asking price. And, the biggest thing you're going to want to do is go in with a plan with your agent, and you have two choices. You could write 20% below asking price, so maybe you get a lower monthly payment. You could ask for a credit That's why I was going to talk about if you ask for like a 3% credit to cover all your closing costs, that'd be roughly 22,000. It would take you just over 3 years to pay back that $580 difference from a 5.5% interest rate to a 7.5% interest rate. So look at how many houses currently right now have been sitting on the market less than or more than 30 days. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Roughly 15 houses have been on the market more than 30 days. So I would go look at all those 15 houses. And if they roughly kind of make sense, I would just go write load offers on it. That's what I would do, just so you know. And I wouldn't be upset if I was a listing agent on those things because I could understand that too. The other thing that people aren't talking about is, yes, look at if we want to take houses that were sold in Orange Crest in the last 30 days between the 700 and 800 price point. Let me make it easier for us and let me take off active. There was 9. Out of those 9, what? Look at all of them sold below asking price. And below that, the bigger thing you're going to look at that no one's talking about is also who is also giving credit. So let's take this house right here. They sold, what was their list price at? Let's see. Their list price was at 780. They closed at 765. So 15,000 below what their starting price was. And then they also offered $19,000 in closing costs. And so this person just bought this house for 15,000 below asking price and got their closing costs paid for and got their buyer's agent paid for. All right, let's go to the next one. This is happening every day, guys. Like Warren Buffett says, when people are running out, you got to be running in. These people didn't get any closing costs paid for, but they did get their broker, their buyer's agent fees paid for, and they bought the house 5,000 below asking price. Look at another one. 739. They bought it 10K below. The house sat on the market for 24 days, and they got roughly $15,000 in closing costs. See the trend that we're seeing here? So everyone who's saying, here's another one. This price was, $825. They bought it at $775, and they had no fees paid for. Let's see here. This one was $755. They bought it at $735, so 20K below, and they had no. And the buyer's paying agent directly. They didn't have to pay for it. All right. Let's see one more. Oh, here's a good one. Wow. Okay. Broker fees, $19,000. Closing costs, $15,000. Other fees, they're probably buying rate down. And they sold this house. Let's see. $790 was their asking price. They sold at $775. And they offered up $50,000 in closing costs. Wow. So if you're someone over here sitting on the fence right now thinking, hey, why am I going to buy the market? It has 7% interest rates. Well, what was happening when rates were 3% or 2%? I was during COVID. You would write it 100,000 over asking price, waive all contingencies, get no repairs, no appraisal, no nothing. And so, yes, you had a really low interest rate, but you got nothing. And so as much as prices are high right now, we can see that they're probably trending a little bit down the other way. But going back to that, actually, I love rambling in these, but let me go really back right to sharing my screen. What you've noticed is the moment they dropped it down to 775, they sold it, right? I saw this on the other one. The moment, no, it's not one, right? Nope, that was another one. The moment they dropped it to 735, they sold it. The moment they dropped to 750, they sold it 16. They sold it for 15,000 below that. And so, what does that mean? That means there's buyers out there. Same as then. They were listed at 768. They dropped it down to 750. Sold it. Okay. So what does that mean? That means there are buyers still in the market, but people are overpricing their houses. It is what it is. And so if you're thinking about selling, make sure when the market's going this way, downwards, right? You need to price right here. Because if you price here, it's already too late, right? So you need to price here where the market's kind of going. And I don't think the market's going like this. I think the market's kind of going like that. It's kind of like that. And if you're thinking about buying, you can't go do 20% below asking price and ask for tons of stuff on a house been on the market one day. No seller's going to take that. But as time goes on and the seller gets desperate and maybe they have a scenario where they have a job transfer, they can't pay the mortgage anymore or something crazy like that, you might get lucky. And so I'm not saying you go write 10 offers and you get 10 accepted if you write some crazy offers. But if you write 20 below or 10 below and ask for all your closing costs covered, what it will cost you in your different monthly payment is roughly $585. That's if rates ever go back to 5.5%. We don't know when that's going to happen. No clue. And this is what's so great about locking in rates. And when people ask me about the housing market of '08 and why that market crashed, the problem is a lot of people had adjustable rates. So they didn't lock their rate in. And so when they did an adjustable rate or they did an interest only rate, as rates kept getting worse, then all of a sudden their adjustable rate adjusted and it ballooned on them. And then their 3% interest rate went to 7% overnight, like that. Boom, done, over. And so if you lock in your 7% interest rate right now and it goes to 8, aren't you happy you locked? If rates go to 5.5, what do? You refi. But I'm not going to say marry the house, date the rate. I think that's a terrible saying because who knows how long you'll be dating that rate. You could be dating that rate for a handful of years. And so just imagine I have to be able to afford this payment at this price. But if it goes down, great. And if it goes up, I'm locked in. But I don't want someone to be like, hey, I'm strapped. I can't really afford this house at 7%, but everyone's telling me rates are going to go down. So I'm going to purchase this home and refi out. Terrible idea. So if you can afford 7%, great. If you like a house and it's a little bit more than you think, and it's been sitting on the market, just go look at it and write a lower offer. Who knows? Might get accepted, right? So my best advice for you is this. If you're thinking about buying, go run the numbers and see if it makes sense or not. And if it does, then go write an offer. If you're working with an agent and that's your game plan, just tell the agent, hey, I'm looking for this. I'm going to write a lot of offers. We're probably not going to write anything at asking. And you know what? If you came to me and said, hey, I want to look at everything 21 days on the market, I'm going to write everything below asking, ask for closing costs. Great, let's do it. But if you came to me and say, hey, we're going to go look at 10 houses this weekend. They all hit the market this weekend. I'm going to write 10% below every asking price. I would say that's probably not going to work because I've sold a lot of deals on the listing side. Unless my client is in a very bad place that reason needs to sell today, they're just not going to do it, right? They're going to hold off. They're going to think about it because when you're listing a price, the seller thinks their house is worth that much. And remember, I said this a million times in all my videos. A seller decides if a house sells. A buyer decides what the house sells for. That's it. Sellers and agents, listing agent, me, do not determine what a house sells for. I can run a million comps as possible, but if no buyers are in the market for your house, there's nothing I can do about it, right? And there's always a buyer for every house, just maybe not at the price you currently have. Because trust me, it don't matter what house you have. The lower you go, someone will buy it. So remember, guys, hopefully this video helps. If you have any questions, this game is too difficult to have some generalization. If you want to hop on a call, it's free, no hassle. There's a link below to hop on my calendar, have a one-on-one talk with me so I can hear everything about you and figure out what the best scenario is for you. Do it. If you like this video, please share it. Please like, please comment. What are all the things? I don't know which platform this is on, probably YouTube and everything. Stay tuned to all my videos. I try to make more of these every single week to try to educate you guys on real things that are happening in the market. I don't make scary titles just to get clicks. I tell you exactly what's going on because I'm a real estate agent, not a YouTuber, not an influencer. I make money on having people buy and sell real estate with us. So if you're in the market to help buy and sell real estate, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you. If you guys need anything, reach out. Until next time, guys.